Richard, and I thought you'd like this. It's no. Ah! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show. I'm Richard Vobes. I'm the man in the white suit. Well, the white jacket, anyway. Welcome to another exciting show here on the internet from a house in Worthing at the edge of the English Channel and the foot of the South Downs. This show comes beaming to you if you were lucky enough to be there at the beginning. Otherwise, it just comes down the old internet pipe. And hello to everybody who's out there in the world, in the Vobosphere. Let's see who there is. Mike Stevens is out there. Barbara Charles, Andy Freeson, hello to you. Nigel Sadler, good evening to you. Roy Ballinger, lovely to see you, thank you. Ron Langley, the lovely Julia. Ed Loud, Days of Yore. Audrey Forbes, Alex Braid, Lara, hello to you. Ernie, indeed. Ernie was, I think, one of the first in, actually. He's getting the drinks for everybody, apparently. And Mr. Connell, welcome from Manchester. Veg Grower Podcast, hello to you. How is the head? Veg Grower Podcast has been suffering from a migraine recently. He's been out in the sun planting too many plants. And that's what happens if you get in your veg patch for too long. But he has assured me that he is better now. Where in Sussex are you still, Steve Pilfold? Probably Pevensey. Being There Photography, good evening to you. John Richardson, hello. Andy Murphy, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to the next moment of Murphy, whenever that is. No rush, of course. And everybody else, welcome along to the show. And we've got some more videos as ever, which is what we do here on the show. But before all of that, ladies and gentlemen, before all the usual sort of stuff, I just want to thank you guys for coming back day after day. Day after, just when I'm thinking to myself, oh, if only they didn't turn up, I could have a night off. I could put my legs up, I could put my back down, I could put my hands over my shoulders like that, I could have a snoot. But no. That will never do. That won't do, will it? No, sir, no. So it's nice to see you nice. Good game. All right, let's look at the old floorboard. What's the matter with it? It's still there. Peter May says hello. Glorious Stag. Hello, lovely people. Hello, lovely, glorious Stag. Staggering around at the back there, but don't worry. Ernie's getting the drinks. So go and see him. He's got a tray. He's playing the waiter in tonight's show. He'll be casting himself around everybody, doling out all the lovely aperitifs. I used to do a thing where I was a pretend waiter many years ago on the entertainment circuit. Spoof waiter, we used to call it. And I would dress up as a waiter. And one of the things, it did depend on the gig, but one of the things we used to do was have this bowl. You used to get those sweets, the teeth that were sweets that were made to look like teeth, children's sweets, Used to get them from Woolworths. They used to sell them. I don't know whether you can still get them now. But they used to sell them at Woolworths. And I would always have a nice big bowl of those. And as a waiter, as a dumb pretend waiter, I would go around with this on a tray and go, aperitif, sir? Would you care for aperitif? Aperitif, sir? And they would go, oh, yes, thanks. What? Oh, a pair of teeth. Oh. Some people liked it. Some people didn't get the joke. Hey-ho. Andrew Norris has arrived. We can start the show now. Andrew Norris is here. Marvellous. Turbo Stream. Good to see you, Adrian. Barry Stevens. I've been binge-watching The Bald Explorer today and discovered some of the long videos about prehistoric parts of England. I love them. You'll notice in that episode I was wearing my dark glasses because at the time, that was about 2010, and I was suffering from my eye problem, and eventually I had the eye removed. Luckily, they removed the correct one. Chris Venables is out there. Floating Our Boat is also out there. Hello to Richard and Fran. Nice to see you. We've got a little video from Richard and Fran. We're all going, by the way, we are all invited on a little cruise in today's show down the canals. It's going to be fantastic, but hold your fire for that. Peter May said, oh, Richard, oh, no, he says, doing his Kenneth Williams. Oh, no, don't make me laugh. He says, I know I've said it already, but you have to show the old video on that ladder. Yes, I know I will show the video on the ladder at some point. When we are that desperate. When? We're not that desperate yet. It makes me laugh so much. It kills me. Stop mucking about. Turbo Stream says, I used to buy teeth. Oh, yes, buy the teeth from Woolies. Do you remember the adverts at Woolies? What was it? It's a Woolies Christmas. Da 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 da. It's a da 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 word. I can't remember the. I've got the advert now, sort of bashing about in my head somewhere. It's the wonder of Woolworth or something. Do you remember that? It's amazing. It's hard now to imagine that there was ever a store called Woolworth or Woolies, as it was always known. And it was a stalwart, wasn't it? It was a I think you can get ointment to get rid of stalwarts. I had a stalwart, but I've used the cream now. I used to sit on a medical board, but they didn't like me turning up for the meetings. Anyway, what ho, says Andy Dalglish. Dickie Vobes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, live on your screen, Dickie Vobes and the Vobettes. Sorry, the Vobettes could not make it in tonight's show. When I used to do the old circus stuff, little miniature circus stuff, I'd get my kids out, dress them up, and I would come out and go, ladies and gentlemen, live on stage tonight for you, Dickie Vobes and the Vobettes. And my little kids would come out as the Vobettes. Yeah, place your bets. Which one's going to fall over? Who's going to fall off the unicycle tonight? Floating our boat, we are very well, thanks. I'm very pleased to hear it. There is at this very moment in time a snorkeler who is underneath the canal that you're in, Richard and Fran, and his strict instructions to get underneath with one of those. Do you remember those do-it-yourself? I don't know whether they still sell them. Those little things like that. You see them in the old 1940s films, didn't you? The spy films or something, and they would be underneath these snorkelers with their. Maybe it was Jacques Cousteau with the Aqua. What is that? Aqua automatic. No, underwater Aqua. AQ. Aqua's sub. Scuba, that's it, scuba. It was sub-aqua underwater breathing apparatus. Something like that. And in the old films, they'd be swimming like this, and you get the music going and the murky waters, boom, 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 boom. And they would get under the German U-boat or whatever it was. And there they would have one of these old-fashioned drills. My dad had one of those old-fashioned drills. I coveted that drill. I coveted it. I wanted a drill like that when I was a young lad. And that, sadly, when he died and I inherited all his tools, they were all knackered. He had all these drill bits, blunt as the ace of spades and as dark as a ray of light. Anyway, they were there, under there going, float your boat. We found the bottom of it. And this is Constanza. Only to find that they'd gone into the sump oil to get an eyeful of, you know how it was in the old film, the comedy film. Oh no, you stupid! Great fun. I haven't really sent anybody, by the way, just in case. Richard and Fran now going, oh my goodness, I can hear tapping underneath. Waiting. Do you remember that they used to put the limpet mines? The little limpet mines used to go on these old in the Bond films, down, 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 with their flippers going like this. Da-dun, 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 sticking the limpet mines on. Yeah, well, I used to enjoy all that kind of. I still do. I love all that kind of stuff. It's great fun. Peter May says, bring back Woolies. Bring it back. Yes, all those sort of things. Not that we could go in there at the moment because we'd have to have social distance for the pick and mix. Which would be different. The pick and mix would have to be so wide, wouldn't it? You can imagine. Over there were the make-believe Bassett's licorice all sorts at one end, and then you'd have the pretend bonbons at the other end, which were lovely and gleaming, but tasted of nothing particularly. They were the day. Loved all those days. Barry Stevens, Floating Our Boat is a great channel. Yes, absolutely. Veg Grower Podcast, that's also a great channel. He says, I've got several of those. Oh, have you got some of those drills where it had a big bulby thing at the bottom and then you'd drill like this? That's all I ever wanted to do, was to go underwater somewhere, get underneath a boat, having my lungs about to burst because I didn't take any oxygen with me, and down there going. It was, to do all that. And we thought it was an otter under the boat. Yes, there you are. You see, those we've armed the otters. That's why they're back. Yes, Tarkers, we call them. Tarkers. They're out there. Henry Williamson would be proud. The little Tarkers there, got the drill in their mouth, swimming around underneath the canal boats going, they're not moving, they're not moving. Actually, they don't need the drill, do they? Oh, no, that's beavers. Beavers could just go like that. So just be careful. If you've got a wooden boat out there, you'll be all right if you've got a metal-bottomed boat. Are you copper-bottoming them, my man? Or no, I'm aluminiuming them, ma'am. You try saying that when you've had 4 sheets to the wind. Linda Kane, broken biscuits and a glass topped at the front of the counter. Yes, they were the days, the old broken biscuits. Jeff Kellison, I think everybody in Atlanta didn't get the memo about social distancing because it's chaos. It's bumper-to-bumper traffic. Where are you, Jeff Kellison? Are you in Atlanta? Are you in Atlanta? Or are you there in Atlantis? The man, what's his name? Patrick Duffy, the man from Atlantis. He used to swim underneath things with one of those drills, didn't he? Going up like that. Maybe, I think I've got the drill on. When I saw my dentist last, I haven't been for a while, but when I last saw him, he said, open wide, Vobes. And he went up through the jaw here. I'll get it. I'll get the teeth drilled out. It's just madness. Anyway, I hope we're all well. Lovely Ernie says, Julia, I've spotted him. Oh, marvellous. Do we have Ron Langley says, when was that and where in Bognor was it? I'm not quite sure what it is you're talking about. Brace and Bit. Brace. Is that what they're called? Brace and Bit. Mark Dolly McLeod says, I thought you were going to do that. We might sneak up on you with a cello playing a certain theme. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Oh, do you mean the da-dum, 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 dum, 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 da-da-dun, da-da-dun? Do you mean that one from Jaws? That's a jaw-dropping film, wasn't it, in its day? Richard S. That's Mr. Suggett out there, yes. Anyway, now, I got this letter. This letter, handwritten letter, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, handwritten. Just wash my hands. Handwritten letter from Bognor Regis. And it says, Dear Richard, it says, Dear Richard, you are the most wonderful, attractive man I have ever seen. You are so beautiful. I love your golden locks. I love the way that you throw caution to the wind on your show. I love all the videos. It doesn't actually say any of that rubbish. It just says, Dear Richard, hang on, I'll do the proper voice. Dear Richard, mate, if you keep doing your show, we're going to send the boys in. No, I mean, we are good at breaking kneecaps. What? I don't remember that. Rub that bit out. Hang on a minute. I've got a pen here. Let me just rewrite this. It actually says, it's much nicer than that. It says, Dear Richard, thought you would like this book. Bing! It says, it's no longer available to buy. I have finished with it now. Yours sincerely, Philip Hammond. Is Philip Hammond out there? Is young Master Philip Hammond out there? And Mary and Fiona? Are the Hammonds out there? Or are they on their organ tonight? I'd love to be able to play that. What was that? Toccata or something? Chicotta? Chicotta? No, she went very cool. Philip, lovely. Thank you so much. An interesting book. This is a book called The Shiny Ninth. Yes, that's what it's called. It's the story of wartime battalion raised by Lieutenant Colonel, later Field Marshal Gerald Templar. No, not that one. And in the aftermath of Dunkirk. It's a war story, and it takes place all over the thing. But it's based on a true story. It's a true story. And thank you very much. Philip Hammond, yes, he says. Yes, we're both here. Marvellous. Both you, Fiona, and Mary. I don't understand. Nobody's explained the Mary and the Fiona connection, but whatever. Philip Mary Hammond, I think it is. Philip Mary Fiona Hammond. Anyway, whatever it is, thank you so much for the book. That's very kind of you. So that was very kind, and that was lovely. On the book, I know we will get onto the videos. It's all right. I know you're looking there impatient, sitting there with your popcorn going,
Are we going to see some videos? Is he going to play any videos? Is he? Is he? Is he going to actually play the videos? Is he? Is he? Is he? Is he? Is he? Let's get busy.
I am going to get round to it. Please hold your horses. Yes, and you. Yes, so also, do you remember yesterday I said in the middle of the show, right in the middle of it, when the video was on, I had this lovely phone call from a gentleman called Leroy. And he didn't want to come on air. Nice bloke. He says he watches from a distance. From a distance. I don't know who, still don't know who did that song. It's very much annoying me. Anyway, Leroy was out there and he said some very nice things. He said the show was nice and he enjoyed it and all that kind of stuff. And that was lovely. Anyway, after the show, ladies and gentlemen, after the ball was over, wasn't it? I think Linda Kane came up with that. After the ball was over. Not really good singer. Anyway, after the ball was over, the show was over. I was sitting there sorting out today's video with the thumbnail and the description and the keywords and all the stuff that we YouTubers have to go through. The pain and angst that we YouTubers have to go through. I was doing all that, making sure it was all nice for you, apart from the audio. I know the audio was a bit crap, but everything else was all nice and ready and whatever. And there was this very gentle tap, tip, 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 tap on my door. This was like 10:15 at night. I thought, hello? Who's that tapping on? I said, hello? Who's that tapping on my door? And the police said, open up, it's the police. No, they didn't. No, it wasn't the police. I opened the door and there was this young man, very nice young man, and he said, hello, I'm Leroy. And I said, hello, Leroy, thinking, oh my God, how did you know where I live? What is it? Is this a stick-up? Have you come to rob me? He said, no, I'm Leroy. And he was so nice, lovely bloke, lovely chap. And he's probably watching now. Hello, Leroy. And he said, he came up with this great big bag. And he's given me some books. He said he'll come back and collect them later. I said, it's just as well you told me that because they'll get lost on my shelves if I put them on there. But they're interesting. He's got this one about the Field Place mystery, which looks into the rumours and research of personal memories regarding the top-secret wartime tunnels, an underground command centre believed to be below Field Place in Worthing. That's one of them. Also, the Royal Observer Corps in Worthing, which follows the history of the Royal Observer Corps in Worthing from the days of identifying enemy aircraft right through to the new, rather chilling role trained to monitor a nuclear attack in Britain. Ooh. So these could be quite interesting little walks and videos to go and have a look at. Ghosts and Legends of Sussex by Tony Wales is another one with lots of ghosts and, legends in it. So he's lent me this. It's a Lancing and Shoreham, a lovely book about Lancing and Shoreham for the lockdown walks to go and have a look at some of the old houses and find out a little bit of information about that, which is lovely. And finally, Worthing at War. Worthing, all the historical documents, charting where this past are more important than the diary of... And this is it. And it's interesting because this is the diary of C.F. Harris. And on this day, well, actually on yesterday's, because on this day in 1940, 80 years ago, just before the Battle of Britain commenced, in Worthing, it says here on the 14th, because we haven't got the 15th written here, it says Sunday, last evening at 10:15, when I had retired to bed, F, I don't know who F is, F might be his missus, let's call her Fiona, Fiona called out, she being with the wireless in the lounge. Oh, they had wireless routers back then, did they? So I rushed down and then had to wait about half an hour, chilly in the night clothes, since the message was delayed. But when it came, it was indeed worth waiting for it stated that the Navy had forced a passage upon Narvik Fjord, had sunk 7 Hun destroyers, and that further operations were proceeding. People were glued to their wireless sets back then in 1940, hearing about all these things. So again, this is very nice. Thank you so much, Leroy. That was very kind of you. My life is a very strange affair. Yes. Anyway, cheers to everybody out there. We're gonna show a video, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines. We've got a few videos, not as many as we had yesterday, so I'm going to open up the phone lines in a moment. In a moment. Was that a different song? So I think we will just have a quick look in the video box to start the proceedings off. And there it is. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it's so exciting. I'm so excited because there am I, underneath the water, like this, with my special, whatever you call them, drill. The lovely Fran and Richard from Float Our Boat. Wonderful, fantastic YouTube channel. Check them out immediately, even though they're not really doing a huge amount at the moment because of the lockdown. They've got 2 years of videos to go back and troll through. When I say troll, I mean, trawl through is what I meant. Catch up with their story, fantastic story of two people who've had their dream of passion to buy a canal boat. And I didn't realise they had been watching the show for as long as they had been watching the show, to be honest with you. But fantastic couple, and they give the canal community such a good name. And there's lots of canal videos out there, but I think they're one of the most engaging to watch. So let's have a look at Fran and Richard from Float Our Boat.
Morning, Vobesters.
Morning.
I'm Rich.
I'm Fran. We're on our narrow boat, Constanza, which is where we live. We're stuck in the lockdown as everybody else is, but today we need to move because we have run out of water. I'll have to go to the nearest water point and top up, so we thought we'd take you for a little cruise.
Here goes. We've been on board now for 2 years, just over, and we picked the boat up in the Midlands and the canal was frozen, so we couldn't go anywhere for a few days. But we've been down to Bath, we've been into London, up through the Midlands and into Chester, so we've done quite a fair bit in those 2 years. We absolutely love it, don't we?
And we love it up north. We've got some good walking country around us now. And if it wasn't for the current situation, we'd be off up on the hills.
Yeah.
But at the moment, obviously, we're just confined to towpath like everybody else.
Lifestyle I thoroughly recommend, but you really have to get on with the person that you're living with.
Fortunately, we do. And you also have to be prepared to get rid of, I would guess, about 75% of land life stuff. Not
easily.
only material, but things like laying in a hot bath and just yeah, it's a completely different lifestyle, but we love it. We did it for the simple life.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got, isn't it?
It is indeed. So we hope you've enjoyed our little glimpse into narrowboat life, and hope to see you again soon. And keep up the good work, Richard. We really enjoy what you do.
We love seeing everybody's little videos and watching your stories. It's great, keeping us sane anyway.
Well, say that.
Well, I don't know about that, but we're enjoying it at least.
Fantastic. Or should I say Fran-tastic. Fantastic and Richard there. Floating Our Boat, ladies and gentlemen. Go and check them out. Absolutely brilliant. Who needs a long, lovely soak in a bath when you can have a nice shower unit or a swim in the canal? Perhaps don't recommend swimming in the canal. But no, absolutely, what a dream. And it's something that I would dearly, dearly love to do, buy a canal boat. Probably try and do six months in a canal boat and 6 months on the land running around doing stuff. Probably would work better for me because I've got too much stuff. And I think if I took all my books on a boat, it would sink. But absolutely, what an amazing thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending us a video. That was really nice. And Julia, does that bring back memories? Does that bring back memories? We have booked another week on a canal boat in October. Fingers crossed that we can do this, that we can get back on the canals for another week. The lovely Julia and I, and little Joseph may well be coming along with us as well, as we go and in the shadow of floating our boat team there. I can't wait to go back. But yeah, no, if I can raise the money to buy a canal boat, that would be fantastic. But I wouldn't want it to be moored up for we want to be on it as often as possible. But yes, what a dream. And it's so nice to see people who are so happy doing it. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. Right, okay, let us switch on the phone lines. Have you been on a canal boat yourselves? And why is that not going on? Oh, hang on. There we go. Have you been on a canal boat? Have you had a canal holiday? Have you been on a canal in a canoe? Are you a GNU? No, don't answer that one. 0793 4746790. Give me a call on the number. Tell me your canal experiences if you've had or been on a canal boat. The thing was, as soon as Julia and I mentioned that we might buy a canal boat, the amount of people saying, "Oh no, don't do it. It's a money pit. You'll lose all your money." And I'm sure, Rich and Fran, you've had that thrown at you all along. And I'm sure for some people who are a bit gullible, and I'm not saying I wouldn't be gullible, but people perhaps who are too keen can very easily come a cropper if you buy something from somebody who's not terribly reputable or you don't know. But we have a phone call. We have a phone call coming in. Let's find out who that is. Hello to you, mystery caller.
Hello, Richard. It's Gabriel from Glastonbury.
Hello, Gabriel from Glastonbury.
Hey, hello. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. Bit tired tonight, actually, funnily enough, but I'm going to have a day in tomorrow.
That was a good ride earlier.
Thank you. Oh yes, today's video. Sorry, I thought for 1 minute he'd been spying on it because I did go out on my bicycle today.
Yeah.
So that was it was just that was slightly disconcerting. Then that was a good ride. Oh yeah.
Excellent. It was lovely to see Richard and Fran's video. Really enjoyed that. I've been following them since the beginning. I love their channel. It's great.
It is great. Isn't it?
The reason I rang is you asked the question, and yes, I have experience. I used to work on the canal.
Did you?
Yes, many years ago. We're talking the 70s.
Oh, right.
I worked for a company based at Balls Bridge, which is a junction on the Grand Union Canal in Hayes, in West London.
Okay, yeah, no, Hayes.
And we carried lime juice from Brentford Docks, where the Grand Union meets the River Thames, up to a place called Boxmoor near Hemel Hempstead, about 24 miles.
Lime juice?
Lime juice, yes. It came across from obviously where it's produced in the West Indies. It was shipped up the Thames on the old lighters to Brentford, where it was on the side of the dock there. And then we just beetled away at it up and down. We went from Brentford to Boxmoor and then back, and then Brentford to Boxmoor and back. And that took us to Friday, and that was kind of it. So we did 2 journeys up and down a week.
So did you have one of those narrow boats that had the sort of triangular hold?
These were proper working boats.
Boats, yeah.
They were what they call a monkey boat, which has the engine in it, and a butty boat, which is towed along behind, 70 foot long.
Wow. 70 foot long. It's amazing. Isn't it amazing? With a big old-fashioned diesel, was it diesel engine?
Yeah, big diesel. I love that sound. It's beautiful. You hear it on the canals nowadays. You hear it in the distance. You just stop what you're doing and wait for it to come past. It's a beautiful sound.
Yeah, I was filming in Abingdon last year, in the middle of last year, and I made a couple of films, and we were down by the river, and with the lovely chap there that I was filming with. And there was a canal boat with I think it was one of those old working boats that had been turned into a houseboat, and it had one of those throbbing motors that you just don't hear now. and a lot of smoke was coming out the chimney as it was going off. But and I managed to capture about, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds worth of it disappearing. But it was as you say, it's a beautiful sound, especially when now it's more evocative now, I guess. If you hear that, if everybody had a motor like that, it'd probably do your nut in.
Yeah, but of course, with it being such a low frequency sound, it travels better, doesn't it? Low frequencies travel further than higher frequencies. But yeah, petters and listers and all that sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was really good because we were kind of the only one of the last working boats on the canal. Then the company was called Tam and Di Murrell. It was Tam and Di and their son Jason. I mean, I didn't do anything technical. I was what they call a lock monkey. I used to cycle off on front on the bike and set the locks.
Oh, right.
For them. So they would always approach a lock set in their favour, because if you can imagine 2 70-foot long boats full,
yes,
low in the water, they don't stop very quickly. So
right.
There was a way we had of getting the boats through, so that the first boat going in was forcing the water back out, which would slow the second boat coming in down. It was quite an art form, but we could get through those locks really, really quickly. I mean, 24 miles in a day on the canal through quite a lot of locks is moving.
And you're doing the same stretch, so
yes.
So you're back and forth. So you knew the locks intimately. And
we knew all the world leaks,
yeah.
All the leaky pounds, absolutely. You get to know it. I mean, I only did it for one season. You know, I don't want to make it sound like I'm some old sea dog or anything, but you know, that was a good season and it was a good year, and I was fit as a butcher's dog then.
Yes, I can imagine that's a good butcher's dog to be fit as.
Yes.
Well fed, those butcher's dogs.
Anyway, listen, I was on the phone last night, so I'm not going to hog it again tonight.
No.
I just wanted to say that because you did ask.
Yeah, no, I did ask. And thank you for that. That's absolutely fascinating. I'm just thinking 1970s, you know, because the canals had gone out of fashion, and Rolt, what's his name, Rolt, I forget his initials now. LTC Rolt had written his book Narrowboat in, 43, I think it is, something like that.
Yeah.
And then... so 30 years, there was that sort of beginning of the resurgence of the canals turning into... I mean, I remember Hoe Seasons were one of the companies that used to do the canals. And I remember going there probably in the you know, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s on a canal holiday. And then, and you, as you say, it must have been one of the last firms to be working, other than the companies that take the coal and the fuel to boaters now.
Yeah, they used to do that as well. I didn't get involved in that, but they did that as well. It's
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And it's a great way of life, because it's like a linear village.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
You know, you might know somebody and they're almost a neighbour, but at the moment they're 90 miles away, but tomorrow they could be next door. It's a very, very linear community, and it's great. And it still exists, which is really good.
Richard and Fran have just said it's their dream to have one of those engines.
Yes. Oh, isn't it just?
Oh, how pucker must you feel if you're going along with one of those?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Gabriel.
My pleasure.
Thanks for the email as well. We'll be in touch, and we'll get ourselves over to you when this lockdown is over. But thank you for ringing in.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Look after yourself. Bye-bye. Oh, how about that? There we are. First caller in, worked on the canals. You never know what's going to happen when you open up the show on this. You know, we had mad shows like yesterday running around the Vobes house, lots of videos. And then, you know, you mention something and somebody knows something or has been there, experienced it. I absolutely love it. If you've been on a canal holiday, if you have worked on the canals, if you've fished in the canal, if there's some connection with canals, give us a call. But hold your fire for a second, because we will go and get another video going in between. But we'll come back to the canal chat in a moment. So now, in yesterday's show, you may remember that their little lovely Bella was being preened prior to going out for a walk. And the preening doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. You can't take your dog to a grooming place, so these days you have to do it yourself.
Hello, it's Mike Dixon, and Bella's having a haircut today. Helen's bought a kit from the internet and using the equipment that she cuts my hair with, because we can't take Bella to the groomers because with the lockdown they're closed. But Bella's getting too hot on sunny days, so we're doing it at home. DIY dog grooming. Bella's been very good.
Any professional dog grooms watching, please switch off now.
Bella's been very good. I think the clippers caught her once slightly, and we heard a Bella squeal.
No, that was a comb.
But the rest of the time, she's
That was a comb.
been very good.
Cut her with this clipper.
Anyway, just thought I'd share it with you today. So I'm sure Bella will be happier and cooler and more beautiful after the grooming,
Or possibly more embarrassed.
and possibly more embarrassed. Anyway, I'll pass you back to Richard in the studio. Keep safe. Bye.
Sorry, I was just reading the comments. How lovely to see Bella being shaved. I used to before I completely took everything off. I used to have one of those razors when I was doing my extra work in things like The Bill and Poirot and those old things. So I was always a military person or a policeman or something like that. I used to shave my hair on a number 2 or a number 1. Well done, Bella. I bet she is feeling a hell of a lot less warm thanks to that getting rid of the coat there. Well done, Mike. Thanks for sharing that. Do give us a call if you've been in a canal. Just reading there, Robert Baxter said he'd fallen in a canal. That made me laugh. And then Linda Kane. I went on a family holiday when I was 16 on the Worcester and Birmingham. Rained most constantly. My mother nearly had a nervous breakdown with us walking across the wet, mossy lock gates. And then she said, I fell in and was hauled out by my father by a boat hook. My goodness. I nearly blew the boat up after I cleaned out the water filter. For those that know, we did the Tardle Bridge flight. No help, no lock keepers. How amazing. You should ring in, Linda, and tell us about your stories on the canals. That would be fantastic. If you have been on the canals and have any experience on it, do let us know. It's fascinating. Fit as a butcher's hook has had a fair bit of comments out there. Mike Dixon, Camden Lock, London is superb. Loads of people on houseboats, very popular area, which has loads of restaurants, pubs, bars, and excellent street market. What I want to know is there a feeling in the canal boat community about those people who have boats and move and go around, and those people who just don't? Is there a them and us? Is there any kind of a difference, or are you all equally as jolly? That's what I want to know. And what about people who own their boats like Fran and Rich, and then people who are renting for a week? When we went, we had an interesting conversation with somebody who said, oh, I'm glad you didn't rent it from whatever firm it was. They don't take any reputable people. Not that we were terribly reputable. But they had a lot of people who were going for stag parties and that sort of thing on the canals. And I did think, I don't know, that's not really the type who, not that I'm trying to be snobbish or anything, but, you know, people who are just there to, it could be anywhere really, just to drink and have a jolly. I think there's got to be a certain amount of respect for everybody else on the canal, not just other canal boaters, but people who are walking, the other people who are moored up, and the people who live beside the canal. There's a whole load of different types of people. I'd be fascinated on that. Charles Richardson, Bella looking lovely. Richard, he says from Charles. Charles, you don't have to say it's from you on every comment. You don't have to say that because we can see your name. So you don't have to say whatever your comment is from Charles. Ramiboo says, I used to groom our cockapoo Springer. Then I'd always put little bows on her ears. How lovely. She still loves it. She would be offended. She would be offended if everybody in the family didn't make a fuss of her and tell her she's a pretty girl. I guess they must like that sort of affection. Turbo Treen says, tardy is a big flight, is it? However you pronounce that, a big flight. Yeah, I'd love to do that, but I think you need a lot of time. You don't want to do that if you've only got 5 days or whatever it is. Hudson Odio, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, Hudson, but I would love to have a holiday on a narrowboat. It is great fun. It is absolutely wonderful. You've got to be with somebody that you like reasonably well and you can get on with over long periods because you are in close proximity. And you've got to do things together. Like Fran and Richard said, you've got to go and collect water and empty your loos and things like that. Pick up diesel. There's a whole, there's a whole part of the whole working life of it that you get involved in. Tardbridge Big, is it Tardy Big or Biggie? Tardy Biggie? I don't know how you pronounce that. Flight has 30 locks and seems to stretch a never-ending line up a hill. Float a Boat says, yes, yes, yes. I'm not quite sure what they're saying. Yes, yes, yes. Is that to Tardy Bridge? Boats and alcohol don't go well together. No, absolutely. If you watch Canal goings on from the towpath, you are gongoozler. Is that right? Gongoozler. I suppose when Julia and I don't know how you feel about this, Julia, and maybe you could give me a ring. When we went on our canal boat holiday, I was sort of aware that we stuck out as holiday people going on it, and you do feel that you're the grockle there, rather than Richard and Fran are genuine people. They bought a boat, they've invested in the life. By being on the canal, they're supporting the canal, the maintenance of the canal with the CRT, the Canals and River Trust. They're supporting the whole network and keeping it there by buying locally and all of that, which is fantastic. And you did feel that the commercial aspect is a double-edged sword. It's introducing people to canals, but at the same time, it might be introducing the wrong element. Hello to the person on the phone.
Hello, Chris Venables here, Richard.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, Chris. How are you?
Good. Very well, thank you. I'm not going to spend up too much time because I phoned up last night.
Oh, don't worry. Nobody else.
We'll talk about canals for a bit, if you like.
Yes, do. Tell us your experience.
Yeah. Oh, dear, where does it all start?
Well, I don't know. At the beginning, probably in a lock.
Let's start at the very beginning.
Yes.
The very beginning, when I was a lot younger, we bought a 22-foot cabin cruiser, me and Christine.
A 22-foot cabin cruiser? So that's not a narrow boat, is it?
No, that's what we started with.
Yes.
And it didn't have a shower. We used to put a child's paddling pool in the cockpit area and use that for the shower.
Oh, my goodness. So a completely impractical vehicle for a canal.
Exactly. And then my brother, he lived on a narrow boat for a few years. And then we decided to build one, so I built one at the side of my house. You
built one? Out of what?
Well, I got the shell I bought from Liverpool Boat Company.
Right.
And we had somebody crane it into the side of my house, and I fitted it out there, and we chugged around on that for a few years.
Wow. So it was craned in, you fitted it, you kitted it all out, got everything that you want, and then you had to crane it, put it on the back of a lorry, take it to a canal. Which canal did you go to?
Well, we went to Shardlow Marina.
Where's that?
And that's Derbyshire.
Derbyshire.
Yes, and that's where we kept it. And then we went out from there on weekends away and weeks away and what have you. But it is quite. Sorry,
I was going to ask. So you kitted it out and you went on the Derbyshire Canal or whichever one it was, and was
No, I
was
don't know.
what you had done yourself? Was it okay?
Yeah.
Did you didn't
Yeah,
sort of
it
get
was
there
fine.
and go, oh, do you know what? I need to modify this now because I didn't think of this when we were in the water. 'Cause
Well, there is. It doesn't matter what you do when you fit a boat out.
Mm.
There's always something that you think, I wish I'd done that differently.
right.
You know, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's always the same. But the conclusions, you know, my brother's since built another boat, a 57-foot boat,
Right.
which he's cruising about on at the moment, and he moors that in Charlotte Marina. That's an absolute beauty, that is. But it is. These people have said to you it's an expensive hobby. It is a very expensive hobby, very expensive. Fran and Richard, they live on their boat, so it's their home.
Yes.
And if I was to get another narrowboat, I would certainly have to live on it to justify the outlay.
Right.
Because when you've got your license fees, you're more if you're not living on it full time like Richard and Fran are, you've got to keep it generally in a marina for
Yes.
safety, and that costs a lot of money as well. Then you've got the general upkeep, the insurances, and all this type of thing. It does mount up to be quite an expensive hobby.
Yes. I guess that's the sad reality, isn't it? That, I mean, here's me trying to, I'm running my little channel here on YouTube and on Facebook and wherever. And I still want to go and explore the country. Not everywhere is close to a canal. Worthing, for instance, it's not close to a canal. It's close to the English Channel. Hardly a canal. Very wide canal. And I wouldn't take a narrow boat on that. Thank you.
No, I don't think I would either.
But then at the same time, that dream, you follow people like Rich and Fran, and you just think, what an amazing life. But I guess you're also giving up, as they said, you're giving up a lot of other things because you can't, if you're on the canal and you've gone, well, wherever, 10 miles down the road from wherever you might have a base, you can't then get in the car and just think, oh, I'm just going to nip down to Tesco's or I'm going to nip over to see Granny or whatever. Because
well, a lot of people do though, because they take a car with them. And they park it up somewhere because when you're on a canal boat, you can only do a few miles a day anyway.
Oh,
it's such a slow. It's only 2 miles an hour or thereabouts.
Yeah, 4, isn't it?
A lot of them. Yeah, well, not on the canal. That's on a river, I think. 4. I think it's more like 3. But anyway, either way.
So what you're saying is they drive ahead, park the car, and then walk back to the canal or whatever, or get a bus, get back to where their boat is. And then they poodle on up, and then they can get to the car, and they can do that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think Richard and Fran used to do that. I think they sold the car eventually because it became a right pain because they're fully committed to living on the boat now.
Yes.
And I think personally, if I was going to do it, that's the way I would do it. I commit to living on the boat.
Yes.
And leave everything else behind.
Yes.
And take what you can with you and live that way.
So basically, what you're saying is, when and if I get fed up of carting about the countryside, say in about 5 years' time, or it might be early, it might be next month, doing the Bald Explorer, and I could still do this. I could do this show from a canal boat, quite happily.
Yeah, you could.
And then just give everything else up, sell it all, give it to the kids or whatever, buy a canal boat, get committed, and then pootle up and down, and bugger off, grow a beard, get a pipe. All the sort of get the buckets with all the little paintings on, and be one, and with me one eye as well. I could put a patch on, get a parrot, and I could be.
It is a commitment to give all your worldly goods up, or most of your worldly goods up.
Well,
but the people that I know that do it,
yes,
never regretted it.
No,
never regretted it.
No.
So that's the interesting bit.
That's it. No, it's a very good. It's a lot of people's dreams, isn't it? I mean, the one thing that we found though, when Julia and I went on, we actually thought, even though we went in October, it was quite busy. There was there seemed to be a lot of people who had bought some form of boat, not necessarily a narrow boat, and they were living on the bank in things that looked like old wrecks with tarpaulins. Yeah, I mean, people were living in very strange. And I mean, clearly they don't take those out and go. But at the same time, when you watch, Rich and Fran's videos, they're pootling along. They say they don't need a license at all.
Who doesn't need a licence?
Well, floating our boat, I've just put a message up. They don't need a licence at all. I think that's because they keep moving. I'm guessing.
I thought they needed a continuous cruising licence for that.
I don't know. They clearly know. Maybe they're cruising.
Well, they must do.
They're cruising at 60 miles an hour. You see, evading anybody. Nobody can keep up with them. They're just going.
Yeah.
Look, it's the man from the CRT. Come on, Fran. And I expect Rich gets his drone out on a drone attack to attack them as they're coming along with their clipboard.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And then they've got the stealth mode. Of course, they've got the advantage that they can. It's actually a submarine. So when people come, it just submerges underneath the water. I know it's only 4 foot deep, but somehow it works. And nobody knows they're there.
Right.
There's a drama there. There is a comedy drama to be made about somebody on a boat. I don't know if there is a Canal series, a comedy series on a sitcom on a boat. There's a series there to be made.
There you go then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well done on that.
Leave it at that.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. No problem at all. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, good man. Take care.
And you, Richard. Catch you later.
Yeah, catch you later, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we are. How about that? Buy a boat, build it yourself, kit it up at the side of your house, drop it in the river, in the canal, vroom, 60 miles an hour. Make sure it's no license needed. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Charles says, he's gone. Jeff Kellison says, I'll buy the boat just to see all that Vobes. Brilliant. Well, we're on then. We're on. Michael Angel says there's a lot of people squatting on the rivers. Is that what they're doing? They're just not buying licenses. They're just squatting and waiting to be moved on. We have another call coming in. Let's find out who that is. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Who's that?
Who is it? What do you mean, who's that? Who is that?
Oh my God, that's.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's weird. 0793146. Let's find your number. Hang on, it's just gone. Let's get the log. 469056 is another silly number that we had that we will add to our auto reject list. They won't be troubling us again. Let's go to a video. Let's see what's in the video. And now we had Mike, we've had Float Our Boat. Do you remember yesterday we went to Bourneville? Bourneville, as Ville as a Bourne. Anyway, Adrian from Turbo Stream has not only just gone to Bourneville, he's gone to Cadbury's too.
Well, welcome to Cadbury's chocolate factory here in Bourneville. And it's a beautiful spring day, so you can see quite extensively how big the factory is. This won't have changed really that much in the last 100 years or so. You can see in front of us we've got all the sports pitches and the recreation ground that would have been provided for the workers, which is still going. Still play cricket here in the summer. So we're about to now go and walk down Birdcage Walk. Well, this is Birdcage Walk. So named because it was supposed to look like a birdcage. Although it doesn't really. To my eyes at least. You can see the big factory. I'll wait to you there. So this is the other end of Birdcage Walk. So I'll just read the sign for you. It says, the Bournebrook. From the Bournebrook comes the name Bourneville. Ville being added at the time when it was fashionable to consider all confectionery to be French. In the early days of the business, it was referred to as the Bournebrook Trout Stream. Now it's quite backwater. The factory attracts ducks and other species of waterfowl. Water from the pool is filtered and used for the secondary cooling systems within the factory production areas and power plant. For many years, a large silo dominated the setting as storage for the milk product known as crumb, which is milk chocolate at an early stage of manufacture. From this point, it was possible to view Cadbury's railway, which until the 1960s operated on over 5 miles of track within the factory site.
Absolutely lovely. It just makes you very hungry when you watch that sort of stuff, doesn't it? It just makes you very hungry indeed. So much so that yes, I just nipped into the Cadbury factory there. Thank you so much, TurboStream. That's lovely. And not that they need any advertising, but I got myself a bit of fruit and nut, so I thought I'd have a little bit of fruit and nut on the show, don't you know? A little bit of Cadbury's. It made me just feel incredibly... oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's nice. Robert Baxter says, I deliver milk to the Cadbury's factory in Leominster. Hands up who thought that said Leominster. Didn't catch me out with that one. Leominster. I quite like Leominster. I've been into Leominster. I think the lovely Julia and I had a meal. We went on the way back. Do you remember on the way back from Mortimer Forest? We went into a little town in Herefordshire, and we went upstairs in that funny little cafe. We'd been driving around, and in the end we had to ring up Maggie, and then she directed us somewhere. But we found this lovely little cafe. Do you remember, Julia? And there we were, and that was in Leominster. Crackling, nice to see us Midlanders getting a bit of coverage. There, well, absolutely. Fantastic. It's nice to give you a chance. Charlie Cooper says, I do love it when people ring in trolling and then Richard gives out their number as a taste of their own medicine. Well, you know, that's all you can do, isn't it? It won't accept private numbers, or I won't answer them now. And when they ring, the number comes up and you think, well, the least I can do is give out their number so somebody else can ring them. And then if they hear that themselves, they may not bother. So that's all. He's a fruit and nut case. Everyone's a fruit and nut case. Frank Muir. Used to love Frank Muir. Did you used to love Frank Muir? Frank Muir did that, didn't he? I can't remember. Sorry, I shouldn't really eat. Although I've actually put that in my mouth now, so might as well carry on. I would try and go back and film the Canal next time. Please do. That would be... I'm getting chocolate on my jacket now. How dare they? TurboStream says, I passed through Leominster en route to Pembrokeshire. Pembrokeshire's very nice. I've been to Pembrokeshire. It's very nice down there. I used to do radio corporate videos for radio stations in Radio Pembrokeshire, which is very nice. There's some nice little nice villages and places. Lots of castles, as I remember, in Pembrokeshire. Lovely Julia says, I'm laughing my head off. Yes, I do. Leominster. We almost ate dinner with Maggie and Robbie oh yes, that's right. We had that in the Unicorn pub. That was in Shropshire. That was in Ludlow. Was that in Ludlow? I'm sure that was in Ludlow, the Unicorn pub. I'm trying to remember. I think that's when we were at the Airbnb, and we went to meet them for lunch, didn't we? In Ludlow, or close to Ludlow. Yes, we did, because we met them up by the castle, didn't we? And then we walked down to... That's right, that all comes back. Sorry, that was a little moment of... Lily Harriet, 29, says, did they really change the recipe? I think Cadbury's tastes just how it always has. I would love to know. Does anybody know? I thought that the crafty people, had changed it myself, but I don't know. It still tastes really okay. But maybe people have got better taste buds than me. John Berger says, as I understand it, the genuine version has milk as the main ingredient. The US version, read Hershey, uses sugar as the main ingredient. And the Hershey bars, the Hershey bar kid is strong and tough, but he's not the Milky Bar kid, is he? Hershey bars, to me, I can't abide the Hershey bars, and yet they do sell them in Morrison's. Down by the Gower Peninsula. Yes, there we are. What about that? Linda Cadman. Hi, Richard. Going to dig out my old DVD of David Essex, The River, about a lock keeper series in the 1988, filmed on the Kennet and Avon. Oh, yes. Dig out the DVD. How amazing would that be? It'd be interesting to see David Essex. What was the famous song that David Essex sung? I know he was in War of the Worlds, wasn't he? No one would have believed in the last years of the century that minds immeasurably more superior than Richard Vobes could possibly make a Vobe show better than the Martians. But they did. Claire Leach. Do love a Cadbury cream egg. Morrison's have been selling Cadbury's cream eggs, the Easter eggs, for 25p. Originally were £1. They've been flogging them off for 25p, and they had stacks of them, so you're getting rid of them at discounts. I did nip in there the other day, actually. Andy Murphy, I have called the number that Richard read out, obviously hiding my name, and they actually picked up. Hey, that's where it works. That's where it works. Oh, they are such terrible Burks. Trouble is, they probably enjoyed that. They probably had not so much attention for years and years. Lempster, near our cottage. Lovely town. Ah, there we go. How nice is that? They did have to change the recipe, but they had to change it back because people couldn't complain. Yes, well done. The power of people, which is great. Emily Champion. Hello, Emily Champion. 14th to the 15th of April, 1912, singing the Titanic. Apropos of... What was that? I mean, what? Have you come into the wrong chat room, Emily? Where was that for? Singing the Titanic. April. Oh, what? This week. Oh, this week, 1912. Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes, a little bit of history there. Thank you very much. If you see any icebergs, we wouldn't have had any icebergs in this weather, would we? John Berger says, yes, but all Cadbury products in the US are made by Hershey, and the recipe was modified for the Yankee Doodle taste. Unfortunately, it's still better than Hershey's regular bars, though, is it? Yeah. Well, you want to try some Cadbury stuff. That's all I can say. Seen any icebergs today? That was the joke I just did. Gonna make you a star. Oh, by the way, thank you for those people who were going. What was the song I was talking about? From a Distance. Was it From a Distance? I can't even remember now. Oh yeah, maybe it was that. Who all the singers there. I think somebody said Alf Garnett was the original. Can't remember that. Alex Braid says the best chocolate from the US is Reese's Peanut Butter. Oh, yes, I've had those. Very sweet, though. Very sweet. David Keel, if it says Cadbury's Dairy Milk on the bar, it's closer to the original recipe. If it just says Cadbury's Twirl or whatever, it's more like Kraft's version. It just says here, oh, Cadbury's Dairy Milk. I can tell you, it's very nice. I haven't read my comments about the falling off your bike. What? Oh, Linda Cadman. Sorry, I'm chewing chocolate now. Linda Cadman, you haven't read my comment about falling off your bike, no helmet, and holding your GoPro in the hand. Naughty boy, please be safe. Don't want to see you come off your bike. I don't have a helmet. I haven't got one. Wouldn't know where to get one. It's my head, and I can hold... Oops. Sorry. That's a £300 microphone there. Don't hit the microphone. I know. How many comments have I had about, hey, you're not wearing a helmet. You're not wearing a helmet. He's not wearing a helmet. Oh, no, he's not wearing a helmet. He is a grown-up boy, you know. He has got his own life. My goodness, I've been riding a bike since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I know I could get knocked down by something tomorrow. A supermarket trolley might come out of a mole hole. Who knows? Yes, I know. Helmet. But it's not mandatory. I don't have to wear a helmet. Sorry, it's got slightly heated there. Let off the steam. I'm all right now. Let's go and have another piece of chocolate. Let's have another video. And he's not wearing a helmet, Mr. Grimsdale! They've stolen all our helmets, Mr. Grimsdale! Oh no, stop mugging about. They've stolen our helmets? No. I tell you what, let's calm down from all of this. Let's go, instead of going from lovely dark chocolate, well, it's not dark chocolate, milk chocolate, to a little bit of gold. Barry Stevens has our gold report.
Hello everyone, Barry Stevens here. Just a short video about a coin I found a couple of years ago on a metal detecting dig. It's a King George IV full gold sovereign. It's 22 carat gold, and it was minted in the Royal Mint in London. It's from 1825. I'll just zoom in there. Just see that. It's in very good condition. I'll just flip it round so you can see the shield side. As you can see, still in very good condition. Looks like it's just come out of the mint. There's a little bit of background information on it. The artist or designer who did the King's portrait, he was an Italian designer. His name was Benedetto Pistrucci. I think I pronounced that right. The King didn't like his portrait, so he recalled all of the these particular 1825 coins and had them all melt down and employed a new designer. But some of them didn't get recalled, and this is one of them, which makes it a rare coin. Another little bit of interesting information is that technically this is still legal tender, this particular coin, in the United Kingdom, and it's worth £1. Its actual value is worth anything from 1,500 to 2,500 depending on its condition, but legally it's worth £1, which is basically means if I was to sell it, I wouldn't be taxed on anything I got for it. Anyway, I thought you just might like to see that and learn about that, and see you later. Bye bye.
I have I've recalled all the coins that I had of my face. I was going to issue gold coins to all my lovely viewers, actually, and I've had them all recalled, and I've melted them down and turned them into bars. And at night, I climb into this cage full of these gold bars, and I lock myself in there. Not the kind of gold bars you were imagining, was it? Nigel Sadler says, yes, worth a bit. I sold 2 last year. Did you? Did you really? I bet you've never seen them before. I bet you've never heard of them. I sold 2 last year. Mind you, Nigel Sadler's just a chap who may well have done that. That's brilliant, Barry. Loved that. That was fascinating to see old George's face on there. It's probably best likeness of him. And he didn't like it because he didn't have, you know, the big bushy moustache and the large ginger beard and the kilt that we all know that George had, being a Hanover. They all had ginger beards and kilts, and I think they had crossbows. That's not a crossbow. I know that. They had Bernie the Bolt, didn't they? I don't know what I'm talking about now. The thing is, repeatedly trying to delegate one person should be yes. Sent from Vobes Towers, says Emily Champion. What's that? Sent from? Oh yeah, sent from Vobes to everyone. They were going this year. We were going to issue to everybody the nice, but they got my face wrong. They gave me curly hair, and not very flattering nose. My nose was sort of right out here, which is not right. So there we are. Does Dumpman wear a helmet? Says Claire Leach. I have no idea. Probably not. He wears a T-shirt. We can be assured to know that Richard is not one of those daredevil peps people. No, that's me. People hang off the side of tall buildings. What people? What people hang off the side of tall buildings, and how do they get there? That's what I want to know. Same designer who did the Waterloo medal, says Michelangelo. So yeah, there we go. That was interesting. I knew Jeff would like that. I knew Jeff would love one of those. He would love one of those. Imagine getting out a coin like that to flip when you're after you. No, after you. No, I tell you what, we'll flip a coin. Heads or tails. Oh, it's George. Which George was that? George the something's head. Yes. Nigel Sadler said, my dad was the manager of a Worthing Jewellers, so I know it was a gold sovereign. Quiz time. What monetary denomination is the face value of a sovereign? What monetary denomination is the face value of a... I like the fact that it was only £1. I love the fact that it was only £1 and you could flog it for £1 and pay no taxes. But presumably if you flogged it for 2,000, you pay a little bit of tax, would you? You'd have to pay quite a bit of that. Dumpman was in the Evening Argus yesterday. It was lovely to see him in the Evening Argus, even though they didn't have one up-to-date photograph of him. That photograph of him with all that hair was taken in the 70s or something. That was so long ago. Dean Cooper says, I sold a silver William the First crown dated 1831. In a book, it's worth £2,000. I was told by an antique shop it was worth nothing, just the silver weight. Oh, right. But how much did you sell it for? That's what I want to know, Dean Cooper. All these people with their coins, they're being very cagey, and they kept that very quiet. They're all loaded. Linda Kane says, by the way, I think this time that all bikes should have a bell or something similar. I was almost ploughed down on 2 occasions today walking up a road with no pavement. Didn't hear them coming. I tell you what, I'm a driver, but I'm also a cyclist. And I'm usually quite good with cyclists. But sometimes you get 2 cyclists riding abreast on a road, and a busy road at that, and they don't give way. I find that if I'm a cyclist, very often, if I know I can sense there's somebody behind me, I would even if there's nobody on the pavement, I'll get on the pavement and let them pass. I will, because I know what it's like being in a car, seeing a sodding cyclist in a way, and I am one of those sodding cyclists. So I will move out the way and let them, they've got a car, they can do more damage to me. So I will respect that. I won't be belligerent and go, oh no, I'm on a bike, so therefore I'm going to have the whole road to myself. Because as a cyclist, you're not paying any tax, you're not paying any insurance, there's nobody inspecting to see if your tyres are all right, you don't have an MOT. As you say, used to have the cycling proficiency test. I don't know whether they still do all that sort of nonsense. So as a respectful cyclist, I would say, oh yeah, there's a lorry, he's trying to get out. It's a right old effort for a lorry to go and declutch and get down and whatever it is, and you can hear that. So I'll just move over. Sometimes I'll pull right over and let them pass because I know what it's like being a driver. But you get some cyclists. But pedestrians are just as bad. How many times you're cycling along on the road and a pedestrian just starts walking into the road because they've not looked. They may not have heard anything, but they've just walked out. And on my video, one of my recent videos, there's a woman it's in the sped up bit as I'm heading home. I think the first cycling bit. And there's this woman, she just steps out and starts walking across. And it's like, hello, I'm coming. You need to look left, love. Or sir. They don't call them love. Look left. Look before you cross the road. That's a moment of... we're getting ourselves all a bit hot under the collar again, aren't we? I tell you what, we'll have another video. We'll take our last phone calls and then we'll have the final video. Okay, let's have a look here. Ed Loud. He is allowed to do a bit of cooking, Yes, he's been at it. Let's see what he's making for us tonight.
Hello, it's Ed here, and it's time for another loud moment. Welcome to my grandfather's kitchen, where I'll be cooking a chunky vegetable soup with lentils and barley. I've taken 3 ounces. That's around 90 grams of pearl barley. Rinsed it, then placed it in my grandmother's old cooking pot. I've then covered it with 500 millilitres, around half a British pint, of stock. I've also covered it with half a pint of water. Remember that other countries' pints will differ. An American pint, for example, is smaller than a British pint. After bringing that to a boil, I just leave it to simmer 30 minutes and keep a lid on top. Bear in mind to use vegetable stock if you want to keep your dish vegetarian. Otherwise, any stock of your choice will do. Next, I'm going to add 3 ounces, that's about 90 grams, of rinsed red lentils. They're high in protein and very tasty. I'll leave that to simmer for 5 minutes whilst I peel, chop and core an ordinary eating apple. Here I've got the apple as well as 9 ounces, 260 grams of assorted vegetables, which include carrot, swede, turnip, celery, onion and leek. I add them all to the pot and cook until tender, 15 minutes in this case. Now that the veg is tender, I add a tablespoon of tomato puree. Worcester sauce is good, but includes fish, so I often use a tablespoon of HP brown sauce instead, just in case a vegetarian is joining me. My stock contained plenty of fresh herbs. However, I'm going to add a little dried parsley for the lovely fresh aroma. I give the soup one final stir, then taste and test the seasoning. Just adding a little seasoning. I don't need too much as the stock already had salt in it. Finally, I add the chopped spinach, then I stir for 10 seconds and serve immediately. I've made my soup quite thick for an elderly neighbour who prefers it that way. If you prefer a runnier soup, just add more water. You won't need any corn flour or thickening agents because the barley and lentils thicken the soup nicely. That's it from me. Thanks everyone. I'll hand you back to the Vobes show now. Goodbye.
We want more cooking, Ed. That looks delicious and I'm very hungry. Oh, didn't that look lovely? I love those, the barley and the red lentils. It just sounded really nice. And how kind of you to be cooking for an elderly neighbour. How lovely is that? That is fantastic. Well done, sir. Really enjoyed that. That was lovely. Thank you so much. Now, if you want to have a call, talk about canals, want to talk about cycling, want to talk about soup, can talk about anything you like, 0793 4746790. If you want to have a go at me, you're very welcome. I'm happy to take all the criticism. Remember, we're just having friendly debates, so let you know, sometimes we get heated. Much of my heated comments, by the way, are there in jest, as most people know. The soup looks absolutely delicious, says Mike Stevens. It did look delicious, actually. That was really nice and well presented, as Lily Harriet says. Yum. Great. Looks great. Nice video. Yeah, we want another cooking video, Ed. When you next do something interesting or not interesting or whatever it is. And yeah, we want to... Don't worry about measuring it all out. Just, do it all by eyeball and shove it loose however you like. Whatever you say. I think that would be great. I thought it was great. Good job, Ed. We all need to look out for each other. Absolutely. That was very kind. I'll add that soup to my recipe book, says Barry Stevens. Nice video. Barry actually has given me a recipe and I have yet to do any of this cooking. I suppose because the weather is so warm, I don't mind heating up some soup from a tin, but getting the Essie warm at lunchtime when I like to have a bit of soup. I tend not to eat soup in the evenings, but I could do, I suppose. Putting the Essie on in the evening is a bit of a... in the afternoon is a bit of a palaver. Bit of a palaver, love. So if anyone wants to give us a call before the end of the show, we've got one more video to play in, which is a short video from Dave Ford. Ed Loud says, thanks, everyone. Charlie Cooper, he says, nice cooking. And apparently that was that Charlie who said it was his kitchen that you borrowed? Ed Loud says, I do it by, but the viewers might want to get the ingredients. Oh, yes, of course. Silly me. Oh, what a fool I am. You're quite right. Phil Hammond is worried about... Hello, Richard. Kevin here. Kevin is off walking somewhere. He did his nuts in the other day, and we're not talking about these Cadbury's nuts either. And so I think he's watching the paint dry. He's very particular about how the paint dries. It's got to paint... The paint has got to dry at the correct temperature. And if it's not drying at the correct temperature, it makes his beard curl. So he's kind of got like a beard thermometer as far as painting goes. He's been in the business for so long, you see. So that's it. Claire Leach, have you got a blender, Richard? I've got one of those, a Kenwood. I think it's a Kenwood blender from the 1970s, I think it is, or might be the 1980s. Yeah, I've got some ancient blend, one of those upright things that go with a whizzy thing at the bottom. I put my finger in there by mistake once and sliced it right off. I've had fingers transplanted since then. He lies glibly. I wish I could do that with my eye. Floating Our Boat says the soup looks delicious. I know that, but Fran is a good cook. I learnt that she doesn't make chili without putting garlic into it. So her meals always look fantastic. Watch the series and you'll and you'll see Linda Cameron says, "Thanks, Julia. Thinking of you and the family." Yeah, I hope you didn't take offence there, Linda, when I had a little spout about the helmet thing. I can, react badly to being told I'm a naughty boy. That's the trouble. You're a very naughty boy. People like to tell me what to do. When you make a video and you shove it out there, you put your head above the parapet, and you're not always ready for the curved balls that come from people. You think, I'm just making a bit of entertainment. I'm just making something so that people can, get through the 10 minutes of their life when they're standing there on Beachy Head with a handful of pills in one hand and an arm like this with a razor blade in the other, thinking, life is pretty terrible. But before I do all this, throw myself off, swallowing these pills, cutting the veins and sticking the noose around there, I'll just watch one of Richard's videos, see if it cheers me up. I'm just trying to give people a little bit of... And then out of, people come out the ground and go, oh, but you haven't got your clips on round your this, and you haven't done that, and you're on the wrong side of the road, and this is wrong. And you're going, for goodness sake, I'm just making a video to make people happy. I'm not trying to kill myself and do, something start. It's just very strange, and I'm sure it's the same with Fran and Rich. You say an off the cuff remark. You're filming yourself. And you're trying to sort of concentrate on holding the camera and being presentable and trying to look as if you know what you're talking about. And all those things. And you say, and often I'll say an off-the-comment remark, and I might mention the wrong name of the road or the wrong date or something. And the world and his brother is out there going, oh, no, Richard, it wasn't 1732, it was 1734. And you're going... Yeah, all right. I'm sorry. I'm not the BBC. I'm not commissioned on a great big fat thing. I'm doing this out of my own what's-the-name. But people are relentless. Absolutely. You get a thick skin. In the end, you just go, oh, whatever. I don't care. So, yeah, please don't take offence if I suddenly roar like a lion. I'm under the sign of Leo, I'm also under a medication and a doctor for my mental lapses in being a human. I am also those, that's true. But it's hilarious, the sort of abuse that can come your way. I mean, you've seen it with trolls and things, and you're batting them away like this and like that. And people just, they have no idea. Not that, you don't want people to know that it's what's involved, but it is not... It's just sometimes you just do think, oh, for goodness sake, really? After, I got on a bike and was holding a camera, I was trying to do this, and first thing in the morning during the lockout, so people had 10 minutes. 10 minutes! And all they can go is, oh, but what happens if somebody opens the door and you fall down there and you crack your head open? I'm not doing it every day. Every day, 24/7, riding a bike down a dangerous thing. It's lockdown. Nobody's on the road. I'm not doing it on the M25. Calming down, taking a Julia pill and calming down. Oh, hello. We've had a phone call. They're going to take me off the air. Hello, it's Richard Vobes here. Have you come to take me off the air?
Yes. You're a very naughty boy, Richard.
You're a very naughty boy!
It's said loud here.
I thought it was. I recognise your voice anyway. Lovely soup, I have to say. It was lovely soup.
Oh, thank you.
But
I just phoned up to share a story, actually.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Tell us the story.
Well, I almost let it slip in chat last night, but when I was making the soup, I actually got this on film, but I had to cut out the film because it was too long. I actually spilled some of the soup on my nice, clean, brand new cooker.
Oh.
And the running joke was, Richard has an Essie, but you have a Messi.
Yes. Yeah, like it. Richard has an Essie, but you have a Messi.
Indeed.
So what happened to the soup? Did you scrape it off and put it back into the bowl for the elderly neighbour?
Oh, no, shh. My brother's listening. He'll know all my secrets.
Oh, will he? Was that your brother wasn't the elderly neighbour, was it?
No. My elderly neighbour Frida, she's a lovely old lady, 88 years old.
88?
As good a neighbour as you could ask for. When Grandad was passing away, she was in every day asking if she could get things and what could she do to help.
Oh, I bet she's got a few stories to tell.
Oh, yes. And
That was the one who, on the day Grandad passed away, she set fire to the bin in her kitchen, and I had to run in there and put it out. It was quite funny.
That wasn't what made Grandad pass away, was it? The smoke from the kitchen?
No, but
no, just
she's
checking.
a lovely old lady.
Oh,
so.
bless. Frida, you say her name was?
Yeah, Frida.
Frida. She's not watching, I dare say, but hello, Frida, if you are. We're thinking of you. 88. And can she get about? Is she still okay to get about?
Yeah, if it wasn't for this thing, she'd be out every day.
She'd be on her Vespa, would she?
Yeah, she normally gets the bus, goes down to Eltham, and gets her dinner out and speaks to all her friends and stuff. So she keeps herself busy normally. She's going mad getting fucking doors.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine.
I'm quite the opposite. I'm the one who's used to sitting indoors, so I'm. It's just normal days for me. So
well, we're gonna get you to make another meal on a video. Look at me ordering you about, but no, that was so good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'll have to think of some more short things to do.
Yeah,
a lot of my recipes are quite sort of manfangled and all over the place. So I'll have to. I cook at home every day. I bake bread, and I live on a sort of modern rationing diet. So,
what did you think of my bread making?
I think you did pretty well, actually. I think the only thing might have been, I think you might have overdone the salt, and that usually kills the yeast. It does depend on what sort of yeast. I use live yeast, but
where'd you get live yeast from? Sort of
I make it myself. Here's an idea for my video. I make it myself.
Oh, here we are. Make a video about it. We can watch that and see.
It takes 5 days. It takes 5 days. I'll make it. I'll make some, and maybe in a few weeks I'll send it in.
Yeah. How lovely.
Yeah,
5 days.
Good idea already.
Super. I remember watching when I used to do brewery tours, going around, beer making places. You know what a brewery is.
No, I wouldn't possibly.
No, of course not.
I'm not old enough to drink.
No, not old enough, sir. I don't know what you mean.
They used to have the yeast. Oh no, yeast. We're talking about yeast, aren't we? Yeah.
We are, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I got confused.
Yeast has just gone.
Yeah, they used to have the yeast they would have yeast that would date back something like 10 or 20 years, and they would just keep it alive, adding to it and shoving it in a box. And I mean, I remember going in one, and they had a yeast that they claimed went back to 1752, and he got it out and he put it on his chin like this, and it was like a beard.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. I mean, I've had the current lot of yeast I've got going for about 5 years now.
Wow.
It really wouldn't surprise me. I keep it in the fridge and feed it every 5 days.
Beat it?
Yeah. No, feed it.
Oh, I thought you would beat it. I was like, imagine that. The little yeast is sitting there looking up at you going, oh, no, please, not again, Dad. Not again. Don't beat me. What have I done?
Regularly, if you're a regular user, you have to feed it every day, because otherwise... So I keep it in the fridge to sort of slow it down a bit, and that will make it...
Does it come out with its teeth chattering? It's like, oh, gosh, oh, blimey. Is it right? Are you going to eat your dinner or what? Now, come on, if you don't eat it, you're not having it.
I've just got visions of Swedish Chef on the Muppet now, just pulling his yeast out of the fridge.
What do you feed your yeast on? Do you go in there with a big tub of malt? My mum used to take me under the stairs. But that's another story. And feed malt. When I was a kid, she used to feed this malt into my mouth. It was most weird. This malt here, have this.
I love malt. It's great.
But what do you...
No, I feed my bread yeast with flour. Oddly enough, there you go.
Flour?
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do? Sprinkle it on? Well, I can't wait to see the video now.
Now and then, I notice, I've got a very old fridge, so I think the temperature does vary a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it gets a bit too cold, and then I have to put a little sprinkle of sugar in, just to really liven it up. But
and is
the type of yeast I want for bread is obviously using the flour as a source of energy, so I don't want to get it too reliant on sugar, which would be more like a wine yeast.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so just every 5 days, get it out, feed it, and it's like what they call sourdough bread. If you go to an artisan baker, they'll call it sourdough bread.
Wait, hang on.
I'm sure Mark Donny McLeod will tell you all about it.
Wait. Mark Donny McLeod told us You can't call it artisan because that's the Ponzi name, he said.
Quite agree.
He
Bread
said,
is just bread.
Soon as you say it's artisan, they can put another £3 on the price and people will pay.
Exactly. Yeah, bread is bread. It's the same basic ingredients. And
oh, that's amazing. So, yeah, well, I look forward to that video with you feeding. Do you have to have a chair? You know, the lion tamers, they have a chair, don't they? And as you open the fridge, there's the yeast looking at you going, oh, I'll get you, Captain Mannering, I'll get you. And you're going, get back.
No, thankfully the yeast don't like it up them.
No, I don't like it up them, sir. They don't like it up them.
Well, I'll let you get on with the show. I just wanted to share the messy story with everybody.
Yes, good man. Thank you so much.
Take care, Richard. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
All the best. There we are. That's international chef and large man, Ed Loud, with a loud moment. And how to feed your yeast. I'll get you, Blakey. Oh, no, what was his name? I'll get you. Do you remember on the buses? Who was Blakey? Who was he? Who was he? I'll get you. Oh, what was... Oh, I've lost it now. On the buses. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's 9:30. Thank you so much for coming along for another hour and a half of the Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi and your marvellous videos. Thanks ever so much to all the lovely video contributors. Thank you. That's been marvellous. And to the phone calls. It's been great. And all the chatter that you do out there. You are the chattering classes. Yes, I'm the man who's wearing glasses. And on that very bad rhyme, I will see you another time. Thank you so much for watching. It's been great fun. I must now do my washing. No. Stop there. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. It's been lovely to see you. See you again tomorrow at the same time. One of these days, they will lift the lockdown and I'll get a day off. Yeah. But I think that Boris is probably watching under the covers somewhere with a bit of corona all over. I wonder if the yeast could attack the coronavirus. That would be good. Let out the yeast! The corona going, oh, I thought we had a hold on this. We had the whole planet. But no, they've let out the yeast. Could be a new movie in that. No one would have believed. Exactly. Anyway, enough of this gay banter, this nonsense, this load of old tosh. I will see you again in the future sometime. Tomorrow, really, actually. So take care. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely fantabadooze. See you anon. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Has he gone? Oh, no, he's still there. Ka-chunk.